So this was the last of the series of Charter Acts passed by the British Parliament, and it was also a significant constitutional landmark. So the Charter Act of 1853 separated for the first time the legislative and the executive functions of the Governor General's Council. In simple words, there was separation of powers for the first time under this very act. What do we mean by separation of powers? We mean that from 1853 onwards, there were a different set of people under the legislative branch who would focus on the legislative aspects of lawmaking. And there would be another set of people under the executive branch who would focus on implementing the legislations. Earlier, the people who used to create the laws were the same people who implemented them. There was no bifurcation or demarcation of powers. This was the first time in British Indian history that there was a realization that lawmaking is a specialized task. The Charter Act of 1853 also provided for addition of 6 new members to the Legislative Council. They were called the Legislative Councillors. In other words, it established a separate Governor General's Legislative Council, which came to be known as the Indian Central Legislative Council. This legislative wing of the council functioned as a mini parliament, adopting the same procedures as the British Parliament. So we can safely say that this was the birth of the idea of parliamentary system in India. The Indian Central Legislative Council was the precursor to the Parliament of India that we see today. This act also introduced an open competition system of selection and recruitment of civil servants. The covenanted civil services was thus thrown open to Indians also. Remember, we spoke about this earlier while discussing the Charter Act of 1833. The civil services examinations couldn't be open to Indians in 1833 because of the pushback from the Court of Directors of the East India Company, but that changed in 1853. So please remember the timeline of these things. And to implement the policy of opening up of civil services examination, the Macaulay Committee, the Committee on the Indian Civil Service, was appointed in 1854. Are you guys connecting the dots over here? The Charter Act of 1833 also extended the company's administrative rule and allowed it to retain the position of Indian territories on the trust for the British Crown. But this time it did not specify any particular period, unlike the previous charters. This was a clear indication that the company's rule could be terminated at any time the Parliament liked. The Charter Act of 1853 also introduced for the first time, I repeat, for the first time, local representation in the Indian Central Legislative Council. Of the 6 new legislative members of the Governor General's Council, 4 members were appointed by the local, that is provincial governments of Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. But pay attention to this bit. It's not explicitly stated in any of Lakshmikant's editions. Local representation didn't mean native Indians. Local representation meant those Britishers who had settled down in India or had a British lineage. So don't get confused. I came across a question related to this one in one of the test series, so be mindful about these finer details.